What is happening to me? Why isn't anyone else having any such issues? And is it just me? This never happened earlier. I know something's very different. You have also asked yourself the same question, haven't you? The symptoms that Rani is experiencing is because she has started having her periods. What is a period? Let's start by understanding some basics of the female reproductive system. We all know that the primary function of the reproductive system is to provide an environment to facilitate the growth of a healthy baby. But how does it really work? The ovaries facilitates the formation and release of the egg that can get fertilized. The fallopian tube transports this egg and safeguards it till it gets fertilized. The uterus actually develops the fetus, that is the baby, inside the womb. The cervix provides protection to the baby throughout its development inside the womb. And the vagina finally facilitates the process of childbirth after a period of about 9 months. But what are periods then? It is important to first note that this is a natural process. It indicates a healthy functioning reproductive system, so you should never be scared or nervous about it in general. As we saw earlier, the ovary releases an egg for fertilization. This happens once every month. The body starts to prepare for pregnancy. As a result of this, the lining of the uterus starts to thicken to protect the fetus that might be formed. But what if the egg does not get fertilized? The body no longer needs the thick lining, and it gets expelled from the system along with some blood that accompanies it. This is what you experience as your period. Periods can begin anytime between the ages of 10 and 16, averagely around 12 and a half years in most women. Before or during the onset of the period, you might experience one or many of these symptoms: increased hunger, back or body pain, stomach issues like pain, constipation or bloating, sudden mood changes, headache, fatigue, and inability to sleep well. To be able to manage the symptoms of your period better, let's take 1 minute to understand how the cycle works and what are the 3 main phases that you go through every month. There are 3 hormones that the body produces: estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone, which keep fluctuating through the month, causing the 3 different phases. Follicular phase. This phase begins with your period onset and continues for 14 days, where your hormone levels are reasonably lower. Ovulation phase. This is the 14th day of the cycle, where the ovulation occurs suddenly, spiking up your estrogen level. Luteal phase. This is the phase after ovulation till your next period, where both your estrogen and your progesterone levels are fairly elevated, and you experience most of your PMS symptoms before your next cycle. While during most months, you will be able to deal with the symptoms by yourself with some techniques, it is very important to watch out for these which warrant getting checked by a doctor immediately. Periods become suddenly irregular after a phase of regular periods. Periods occur more often than every 21 days or less often than every 35 days. Periods are irregular with an inability to get pregnant. And periods consistently last for longer than 7 days on average. What you eat greatly determines how well you'll feel through your period. Distribute your food and snacks throughout the day to support your training and recovery. More than half of your daily intake should be slow digesting whole grains. Always eat a light carbohydrate snack 45 minutes prior to workouts, and always stay hydrated before starting your training. During training sessions, consume fluids with electrolytes and salt or sugar or jaggery. Eating right after a workout is most critical. Now you'd be thinking, do I need to eat something specific during, before, or after my period to stay healthier and feel happier? Yes, here are some tips for you. Before the period, avoid eating refined sugar and processed foods. Include fiber-rich fruits and healthy vegetables. Eat foods like nuts, beans, and lentils to keep your iron levels up, and avoid drinking too much coffee. During the period, focus on diets that boost your energy levels. Eat foods like beans, milk, cheese, and fish to replenish your B12 and iron levels. Completely avoid soda drinks or cold beverages and include turmeric or ginger in your intake to relieve symptoms. After the period, focus on estrogen-producing foods to help boost your mood. Go for calcium-rich food like spinach or pumpkin. It's important to keep eating regularly despite your hunger reducing during this phase. You must be thinking, all of these eating tips are fine. They'll help me stay healthier. But what about the anxiety? How do I deal with the same stress every month? You're right. Your mind plays a huge role in your well-being, and all of the tips shared above won't help by themselves if you don't get into a healthier mindset. Let's start off with some basic ideas to remember. Awareness. Observe the changes in your body during each cycle very closely. Note down what exactly makes you feel better or worse during these symptoms. Establish how hard you should push your body during each phase. Acceptance. Acknowledge that these processes and symptoms are going to repeat. Learn to recognize and separate the psychological symptoms that appear. Do not neglect any symptoms or try to just wish them away. Adaptation. Convince yourself that both your body and mind are capable of adapting to all kinds of changes. Try to constantly motivate yourself to help you be at ease. Be flexible in changing your routines based on the kind of symptoms that appear each month. Now we'll tell you 3 simple techniques to help you relax yourself and feel healthier and happier. Following all these steps, we're sure that you would feel far more confident in dealing with your symptoms, and that is sure to reflect in you being a lot more cheerful and also in your performances in training and tournaments. We would like to leave you with just one thought at the end. Menstruation is not something that you need to feel scared of, or most importantly, ashamed of at all. It's important to be open about the challenges that you're facing and communicate them to your close ones in the best way possible. It's not something that is unusual. It's simply periods.